Welcome everyone to another See You Next Tuesday Liverpool podcast. Today we'll be discussing the Champions League win at Genk, the thrilling win over Spurs, previewing the Villa game at the weekend, and picking the bones out of a crazy Carabao Cup game against Arsenal that's just finished. Lots to talk about as usual, Buttercup.
Oh, just a bit. My heart's still racing, mate.
Now listen, I think probably it's a good place to start the Arsenal game. I didn't watch it because obviously I had important matters at hand. I saw 2 minutes. I saw Origi's equaliser in stoppage time and the penalties. Tell me all about the game, mate.
Well, I know you were busy because the maid was off, so you had to do the hoovering. I know that. So it's a shame you missed the game because
Yeah.
it was it was a good match, but not good for my heart and not a good performance.
Talk me through it.
Well, it was just error after error after error. Oh, it's just one of those games where you just think. And the worst of it was, it's the senior players. Keita's touch was terrible. Milner was having a shocker. He did score 2 penalties, one in the shootout and one in the match itself, to make up for it. But God, he was awful. He had an absolute shocker. He was just gone missing on the third goal. The second goal was Kelleher made a mistake palming the ball back out when he could have let it go round the post or push it wide, push it round behind the post, which is something. It's my pet hate. They're pushing it out, keepers pushing it out. Well, it was going wide anyway, so we should have just left it. The first goal was just a catalogue of errors. I mean, we just kept giving the ball away to them. It was almost like we wanted them to score to make it difficult, just so we could prove we could beat, we could come back and score against them. Because Arsenal team, they were shocking. They were not a good side at all. I know people rave about this Martinelli and that, but I didn't see anything about any of those players to impress me. And that's on both sides, to be fair. There was the odd, flash, but it was, like I was saying to you, while we were getting prepared, that one lad, Saka, who's supposed to be a bit special and looked a bit tasty when he's going forward, but he's just so lazy. He just does nothing. He's half-assed defensively. That's where our 5th goal came from, because he didn't do anything to close down the cross. Just one of those games where it was a great game because of how bad both teams played.
Yeah, it seemed like a comedy of errors, Keystone Cops.
Yeah, we were playing it around at the back for no reason. Instead of just moving it about and getting it out of the penalty area, we were just passing it around in it and stuff. It was just like, oh. And Lallana must have changed his name to overplaying it, because that was all the commentator said. Lallana overplaying it, and I'm just thinking, oh, for God's sake,
who's that?
I don't know who the commentator was, but that was all he did. It was all the players, to be fair. They were just so guilty of overplaying. It was terrible.
How did Keita play?
Awful. His touch was off. He kept slipping over. I mean, one or two good things, and then he'd get carried away and he'd try and do too much, overplaying it like Lallana. You know what I mean? It was almost like watching Lallana play at times. He was trying to turn, do a Cruyff turn when there's 4 players around him and wondering why he loses the ball and stuff. And then he went off injured, which is a bit of a worry.
Injured?
Yes.
Again?
Oh. Yeah. They think it was his groin by the looks of it.
Oh, Jesus. That's not. We don't need that at all. He can't even buy any luck at the moment. I feel so. He's got so much potential, and everybody just waiting for him to just explode onto the scene and kickstart his Liverpool career. And he just, I don't know. I think there's got to be it's going to come to a stage where we just have to think, right, we just have to write it off, kind of thing. I hope not. I really don't hope not.
Yeah, if we can't stay fit, there's no point having him.
Yeah, what about Williams, Brewster,
I tell you,
the keeper?
Brewster never stopped working and tried really hard, but he didn't have the best of games, but he gave it everything and kept putting himself about it. So, overall, he actually didn't do too badly. He certainly didn't. It wasn't one of those where you'd say, "Oh, never play him again." but he didn't really
Yeah,
do himself any real favours either.
Jamie Carragher said he worked his absolute hiney off
Oh
second
yeah,
half.
yeah.
Yeah,
He definitely deserves another shot, but he's still not,
yeah,
producing the quality you expect. I mean, Divi
right.
produced 2 moments of quality, and he had a few other moments of quality, but most of the game he wasn't really all that good. I mean, a lot of the problem was the players were slipping over a lot. I noticed on both sides.
Right,
This was, though the Arsenal
right.
play. Oh, at one point, the funniest thing was when Brewster. I think it was Brewster or Curtis Jones. It might have been. Can't remember now. Towards the end, Caballos come on for Arsenal, and I'm sure it was Brewster won the ball off him, and he half an hour later, he threw himself to the floor looking for a free kick. Like when he realised he completely lost it, it was just like nowhere near. There was no one anywhere near him by the time he did it, and it was just hilarious. But I don't think anybody noticed it because it was in the background, well away from the ball, because the ball had long gone. They
Well, it's
do.
an
They do a lot.
exaggerated
Oh, they did
size,
a
yeah.
lot of play acting, Arsenal. To be fair. That Martinelli
Ha-
spends more time on the floor rolling around pretending to be hurt than actually playing.
Well, they think he's going to be a superstar, don't they?
Yeah, well, not on that performance. I know he scored 2 goals, but they were handed to him on a plate. It wasn't like he did anything.
Right.
And I'm sure he
Ha-
was. Didn't he score the first goal, which was miles offside anyway? No, that was
I
Torreira.
don't know.
No, that was Torreira.
How
Sorry.
did uh, how did Gomez, Vandenberg, Williams play?
Not well. Williams produced the cross for the final goal, the last
I
equaliser.
saw that.
But
Right. Yeah.
But the rest of the time, his crossing was poor, and
Yeah. He's no
he
Trent, is
looked.
he?
It's his debut, and like he was,
Yeah.
he showed towards as the game went on, he improved. Must be said,
Right.
as the game went on, but early on he looked so nervy, and they kept giving him the ball in dodgy areas, which didn't help. They were playing it
Right.
to him, and he was playing around at the back, and none of the back line particularly impressed. None of them.
Vandenberg? No.
No. Again, overplaying all the time.
Right.
Gomez started at one point. He started bringing the ball out from the back rather than overplaying it. When the ball was played to
Right.
him and there was players around him, he started running forward with it, taking it out, and that made a huge difference. And that was when the game changed. But then
Right.
towards the end, once we'd scored again, he started passing it around again. You know what I mean? Instead of just driving forward with it, and it's like. And
So
their passing was awful, so they should have just run with it. They would. Oh, it was not a good
any of
game for
these
my heart.
any of these kids first team ready? How about Elliot? How did he play?
No, he struggled to get into the game. He works hard. That's
Yeah.
that was the main difference. I think was that our work rate was much higher. A lot of their players were just. I mean, Kolasinac got taken off, and do you know what? He spent most of the game just sat in their penalty area when they were defending. He wasn't actually coming out to meet anybody. You could see.
Right.
I don't know whether he was injured or whether he's just lazy, but he was poor.
All no good.
Well, he's not. He's not a good player, particularly defensively. But he literally wasn't coming out and closing down at all. And the rest of the team, they weren't doing enough. So ours were working harder, and so I think overall, because of that, we probably deserved the win.
Well, let's give the lads credit for staying in there and showing fortitude and snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. So good for them. It will do their confidence, give them a massive boost. And would you play them the next round, or would you strengthen it a little bit with some few first teamers, or is it depending on who we get?
Actually, the problem is the first teamers were the ones that let them down particularly badly. And that's the worrying thing. It's the likes of Lallana and Milner and that. I mean, Milner's been absolutely brilliant for us the last couple of seasons, but tonight he was shocking. I don't know what was wrong with him. I mean, it was his fault on one of the goals. He gave the ball away, and he's just thinking, in fact, 2 of the goals really. He gave the ball away on one, and on the and on another, he was just nowhere in sight, and I don't know where he'd gone.
Yeah, but is it a case of like? Let me give you a stupid analogy, right? because I think I'm quite a decent pool player, and when I'm playing another decent pool player, I play well. But when I'm playing somebody who's not as good as I am, they drag me down to their like level, and I play awful. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Oh
maybe
yeah,
it's
I
a
know what
case
you're
of that
saying.
with the first
Normally,
teamers.
if it was anybody
Yeah,
else, I would have probably thought that that's a good explanation for it. But this is Milner,
yeah,
and he never performs half-assed or anything. He just had one of those
yeah,
nights, that it was just an off night for everyone.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
The
the
main thing
problem
is,
was they were trying too hard to play
yeah,
good football. If you see what I
right,
mean, pass
okay,
it around at the
yeah, no,
back,
I get,
play well,
yeah, I get.
and
They
that was
wanted to emulate the first team. That's what they
yeah,
were trying to do, probably. Yeah.
it just wasn't gonna. You're not gonna do that. Trying to play the same
So
style,
none of, yeah. So you don't think none of them are first team ready, no?
on that performance, no. But if you put them with 10, the 10 of the first team around them,
Yeah.
they're not going to play like that.
Well, it's
So
a good job we got.
it's a
It's a good
different.
job we. It's a good job we got a good first team, then, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, if you put them with the 10 first team players, you put Ryan Brewster in instead of Firmino, for instance, and I think he'd have had
Yeah,
a much, that work rate would have made the difference. Would have been good enough to get by. And he'd
I
have
get
probably
you.
played a better performance because he was playing with a better team. The problem was it was very
Yeah,
disjointed because none of them knew where the other players were going to run and stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, I get you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that level is far lower than normal. So there's an explanation for that, really. You know that they like you say, if you put Brewster in the first team, because the level is much higher, he would have adapted to that level rather than what he did today, probably.
And he'd have probably got better
Balls or
service.
service and
That's the word
stuff.
I was
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
for. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I mean the one
yeah, yeah, yeah,
chance he
yeah, yeah.
did have, what's his name? Mustafi turned it into his own net anyway, and he was on it. You know what I mean? It's like so you
Yeah,
can't.
I saw that highlights, the goal highlights. Yeah, I mean, that fella, I feel sorry for Mustafi. He's the whipping boy, any of that team, poor guy.
And Ozil
Um,
dragged off after, and you're thinking he was about the only player that looked like he was a footballer in the Arsenal team when he was dragged
well,
off.
that's probably an
Torreira was the
indication
other
that it was,
one. And how does he
yeah,
not get a game in the Arsenal first team? He was the only player who kept putting the work in, and they take him off.
maybe that's
Emery's
maybe that's an indication.
Emery is like his
Maybe this,
namesake, Dick.
yeah, he can't. But poor guy can't even buy. He can't even buy a win at the moment. I feel so sorry for him because he seems like a decent chap, you know.
Who?
The thing
Who?
with Emery,
Who you talking about?
Emery, Emery, Emery
You saying
seems
Emery's a
like a decent
decent
guy.
guy? No, he's crap. That's why he's can't buy a win. He's an
No, I
idiot.
think
He's
he might be
deliberately
a.
forcing players out because he wants to show himself to be the boss. It's nothing to do with anything
Oh, is
else.
he?
It's a person.
Okay,
It's the way he does it. He did exactly the same at Sevilla with Banega. Just
right.
constantly you refused to play him because he wanted to prove that he was in charge. Didn't matter how well
What?
Banega did get when Banega did come in because of injuries or suspensions or anything. He'd come in, have a blinder, and then he wouldn't be seen again for 6 months.
What? You're telling me he'd sacrifice
Yeah, well,
results
ask what he
just
did at.
to?
Do you know what he did at PSG? Ask Thiago Silva and people like that. He wouldn't. He just
I
wouldn't.
would. I haven't got their number.
Yeah, I'm just. Well, he said it publicly. He said quite a
Yeah.
few times, and his wife even made quite a few references to it on social media as well. You can find if you look.
But why is he picking on Ozil?
He's one of
I don't
those.
understand
He's one
that.
of those managers just wants to prove a point. You know what I mean? That he's in charge, and so he picks on somebody who's not going to turn around and deck him. Basically, you know what I mean? If he
Yeah,
had someone, if it was someone like Aubameyang, he'll
Kolasinac.
come out and he'll tell everyone. You know what I
Well,
mean? And he'll say something, and he won't stand for it. He'd be out in the media moaning if he doesn't get a game,
yeah.
etc. Ozil just gets on with it and just accepts it, and that's the problem.
He wouldn't be picking on Kolasinac, would he?
Well, well, no. Even if he had a bike and helmets and knives, yeah.
All right, mate. Well, we're through. And oh, by the way, what's the What was the Chelsea Man United score? I haven't even caught my breath yet.
United won 2-1, I think it was. I'm not
Did they?
convinced on that. See, that was the thing. Harvey Elliott and the Dan James penalty, a second penalty he's won in the last couple of games that are dodgy. And Harvey Elliott's what I won. I'm not convinced it was a penalty. Didn't look like Elliott
Fair
got
enough.
touched. It was one of those.
Did they both play the kids? Chelsea
Um,
Man United.
well, they pretty much do anyway, don't they? That's the thing at the moment.
Fair enough. Yeah, good
Yes,
point.
it's a bit hard to tell what's their first year and what isn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, mate.
Batshuayi's Rashford's goal. Ooh, that was a bit special. The free kick.
All right, mate. I'll take your word for it. I'll catch up on it later tonight. All right, mate. Let's move on to last Wednesday's Champions League victory in Ghent. Seems like yonks ago. I can't even remember now.
I know.
Do you remember the score?
4-1.
Do you remember the score?
I remember
that. Right. I suppose we have to begin by praising Oxlade-Chamberlain's second goal. What a flipping worldie, eh? What a thing of beauty.
He scored a good one tonight as well.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, but wow, that flicker, the outside of his right foot. Oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen something quite
player,
like that.
Fair play. It'll do us good to get him back in the first team.
Yeah, now that Keita's not. See, they both break lines, which is good. We're fortunate in that regard. They both can break lines. So if Keita's injured or out of form, at least we have somebody else to do that for us.
Yeah, if only they could stay fit, the pair of them. That's making it difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, but Chamberlain, it looks like I think he's knocking on the door, mate. I know that he's played the last few games and they haven't been, against Genk and tonight, from what I can gather tonight, he didn't play great, but he scored a goal. But in Genk, the Genk game, he wasn't particularly special either, but he came up with some goals.
That was one of those games, though, where it was a bit too easy, if anything, and so nobody seemed to really have to play that well. It was just a bit disappointing. Yeah, they pulled, they got one.
But the jittery moments, I think, were due to the fact that we had 50% of our usual defence missing.
Yeah, I can go with that. And it's not just that. When you see the balls over the top and they're breaking in on goal, they don't, with the VAR now, they never put the bloody flag up, so you never know whether they're offside or not. So you don't know. It might have got, if they'd have scored, every single time, they might have been a mile offside. But we don't know. So we don't know whether the defence read it perfectly and just let them go because they were offside, or whether they were just having a disaster.
Yeah. Talking about VAR, they're going to have a look at that for the Premiership in a couple of weeks, aren't they? So there's a meeting about it in the international break, but we'll come to that after. We'll come to that. I suppose we're going to talk about that in the See You Next Thursday podcast. That Tanzanian fella for Genk up front, he gave us a few scary moments.
He had
with
that.
His pace.
Oh, you want about the one, the shorter one, not the really tall one. That was a bit Peter Crouch-like. He was doing all right as well. But they had exactly.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
They didn't have that final touch of quality when it mattered, though, did they?
No. That he wasn't a Drogba, was he?
That was the difference. Yeah. Neither of them, and in fact, the Genk team in general, they just didn't have that little bit extra when it mattered.
But to be fair, he went through on goal once. He had a few goes at Lovren. He went through on one, and then Alisson pulled out a very good save. So who stood out for you?
Oh, God. It's one of those where it's. Do you know what? I don't know who stood out for me. I can't remember.
I thought again. For me, it was Fab and Keita. They were very, very good, and Genie had a good game as well. He had a good cameo. I wasn't too. I mean, I know Ox had a great goal and everything, but I don't think his performance was that great, to be honest with you. And I think he's still looking to get him back into. I mean, I know he's fit, but he's not sharp yet. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and it was the same again tonight. was just that last little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? But when it matters, he
What's that?
comes up with the goals. So
Now, what's that about? Is that the fact that he just needs a bit of time, or is it that he's lost a bit, or
games. He needs games. He needs to be playing in
right?
the first
Okay.
team regularly rather than every other game.
Do you think he's ready?
He looks it, doesn't he? He managed to, he managed all right tonight and last time out. He's not doing the full 90, but we don't need him to do 90 minutes. We need him to be in there, and then when we've got either come on and change the game or be on from the start, and then when we've got a lead, take him off is the plan. Anyway, that's what you'd hope.
Yeah, I think he's a dead cert to play against Villa. To be honest with you, um, mate, something you will remember from that Ghent game is the Bobby Rabona pass to
Oh
Sadio when he.
yes.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
How special was that? I mean, it was, I mean, I can't believe Sadio missed because that had been on a loop for years
Oh,
and
I
years
had a
and
few
years.
wet dreams about that pass as well. Such a shame he ruined it.
It was a thing of beauty. It was world class. I mean, to thread it through, it's probably the only way he could have threaded it through to Mane. As the only thing he could have done to get the ball to Mane. I wish he'd scored. I really wish he'd scored. But so we're lying second in the group, below Napoli. Napoli have got to come to us in a game or in a week or two, I think it is. And so yeah, we're sitting
The next
decent. We're
game's
sitting
Genk, isn't
pretty.
it? In a week or
Is
two,
it
isn't
Genk?
it? Genk at home, and then
That's
don't
why
they
they
just
pay you.
reverse order?
That's why they pay you the big bucks, Tristan.
I wish they bloody did. Or pay me at all would be nice.
So it's Villa, Genk, City, and Napoli. Am I correct?
I'm trying to remember. Is it Napoli or is it not the other game first?
What, Salzburg?
Yeah, don't we play them? Isn't it like reverse order? You play Napoli, Salzburg, Genk, and then Genk, Salzburg, Napoli. Or am I getting that wrong? Am I misremembering how
Let's
it
go.
works?
Let's go with that. Somebody will let us know in due course if we're
Yeah,
right
they'll
or
tell
wrong.
us I'm wrong anyway if I'm wrong. Even if I'm right, they'll tell me I'm wrong. Let's be honest.
Some people live for that, mate. For you to correct you.
Yes, you.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I suppose we have to talk about the Origi poster. What's your thoughts and feelings on that?
Well, it was a bit stupid. And I know people are going to say, hey, it's not that bad, but that's because they don't realise what that refers to and why it's so offensive. I think I've told you this before. Where it comes from is they used to hang weights off that, the slaves' penises to stop them running away if they'd been constantly trying to escape. So that's where the saying comes from that they've got big ones. So, it's like, yeah, it's not something you want to be associated with, is it?
I was absolutely
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
horrified. It's embarrassing. I was absolutely horrified that somebody. I mean, let's face it. As a piece of banter, it's not even funny. It's not even good banter.
And it's not
So
like it's not been highlighted recently with the Lukaku at Man United a couple of seasons ago, and
take the racial connotation out of it, right? It's not even funny. I mean, as a piece of banter, it's not funny, and we could do better than that. I mean, surely, I mean, I'd have thought our fan base could come out with something funny. And listen, although I'm sure it was done in jest, and let's give whoever did it the benefit of the doubt and say they didn't mean it to be racist, but it is. I mean, it perpetuates a racial stereotype, which is in turn racist. If they had a poster of if they had a flag of Origi eating fried chicken, for example,
yeah, you just cringe, wouldn't you?
would it be funny then? You know what I
No.
mean? It's just you can't be making jokes out of racial stereotypes because it's not funny and it's racist. I mean, although it's uh, people that probably did it probably thinking, oh yeah, we're doing him a favor, whatever. But you got to understand, man, it's racist, fella.
It's just one of those things where you just think you haven't thought that through at all. It's just
But
stupid.
especially coming on the back of the Lukaku flag.
Yeah, no, they had a song. Remember, they kept asking them not to sing it, and it's not just Lukaku. There's been numerous of them around around the world where they've asked them to stop singing that about a black player. Similar things. There's no excuse for not knowing about it.
It's just, I keep saying it. It's not funny. It's just not funny. And like, fair play for the football club, Liverpool Football Club, coming out and completely damning it from like straight after the game kind of thing, you know. And I was very proud of Liverpool for doing that because they stamped on it quickly, you know.
Yeah, it's just sad that they had to.
I just don't understand the fan base, man. I just don't. I mean, this is obviously a reflection on society.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
but then when you've got people like when in the UK, the fight against racism, more than 70% of the total UK funding for the fight comes from a man they won't even let in the country, the UK government, because Roman Abramovich funds most of it.
oh, is he still having issues with
Well,
his
he's still
visa
not
and
allowed
stuff?
in. He's still living in Israel, I think it is. Yeah, the UK government won't let him in the country, but he's the one funding the fight against racism. More than 70% of the money comes from him.
And what he's done for the economy of the UK is
Exactly.
unbelievable.
I don't. If he's been proven to have done something wrong, I'd fully understand why they were blocking him from coming in. But it's only rumour and speculation. We have no idea what he's actually done to earn his money.
Who cares? I mean, at the end of the day,
Well,
it's
I'm sure there are people that care, but you
yeah,
can't prove it, so you can't. It's innocent until proven guilty. So that's what matters. There's no
that's
point
what I
having a
mean. I
justice
mean,
system if you can't abide by it.
no, but what I'm saying is I don't think um he's guilty of crimes against humanity and etc. You know, I'm not sure. I don't think he is, but it's maybe
Well,
it was
he's
a
innocent until he's
he
proven guilty of them, so he's innocent right now. So
yeah, and I mean that the way they earned their money when old USSR was privatized is is conjecture and in supposition, really. I mean, who really knows what happened?
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so I mean,
It's probably
and
no. I
that's
mean, everybody lauds the guy who invented Apple. What's his face? The
Steve
one that,
Jobs.
yeah, everyone lauds him. What a great man he is. Yeah, he made his billions on the back of child slave labour. So why is he seen as a shining paragon of virtue when the guy was far from it?
Exactly. I mean, I mean, listen, if there was startling, clear evidence, then that would be different. There is no evidence of any wrongdoing by him, I don't think.
Well, if they had it, they'd be producing it long ago, wouldn't they? So
Absolutely. So, anyway, shall we get on to the
yeah, we
Liverpool
were
Spurs
supposed to be
game at
doing
the
Liverpool.
weekend? Yeah.
We always, God, even now we've got a separate podcast for this stuff. We still do.
What's this wee pale face? All right,
Uh,
mate. 2-1 Liverpool. Thrilling game, I thought. I thought for the first 25 minutes, it was a bit. I was a little bit bored by it, but after that, it picked up, and then we got into our groove. I thought, personally, what I thought was Tottenham's five-man midfield was rigid and doing its job for the opening quarter. I thought we were poor for the opening quarter, and
so
then
what?
we
What 5-man midfield? Do you mean they had two forwards in Son and Kane,
yeah,
and everybody else was in defence, weren't they? It was like watching Tony Pulis or Sam Allardyce turn up at Anfield. They just
yeah, but
time
you've got it.
wasted and
Yeah,
shit kicked. Harry
yeah,
Kane
but
is
you got
just a disgrace to the game. He really is. It's embarrassing. It really is. Every time
Mate,
anybody goes near him, he throws himself. I mean, that point where he got, was it Lovren, booked for nothing because
yeah,
he went down holding his face. He should be ashamed of himself and he should be banned for that.
and he didn't even touch his face, did he?
Exactly. That was a disgusting thing to do. If he's hit you in the face
I've
and you
no,
go down holding your face, that's one thing. But when he's not even got near your face, that's just disgraceful.
I've noticed one thing about Harry Kane. Since he's stopped scoring so many goals, he's in the face of the referee, trying to influence the referee because he's Harry Kane.
He's turned into a
England,
shithouse. That's it.
yeah,
End
and
of. A total shithouse. He used to be a great footballer with a great attitude, and it's just gone. I don't know what's happened to him. Mind, there's probably the Pochettino effect. None of those players have improved under him.
I think he needs to get away, mate. To be honest with you,
I'd agree. Because we know he's got
to
the
go.
ability there.
He's a fantastic player. Let's face it. I mean, I know you don't think he's as great as people say, but I really do rate him. And
Oh,
I
I
think
think
in
he's
a
a great
particular
player. Just
system,
don't think he's as great as everybody. He's no Lewandowski. He's not even on the same planet like people make out. If he wasn't English, he wouldn't even be compared to him.
I'd like to before I'd reserve judgment before he. I want to see him in a say. I don't know, a top Spanish team or an Italian team or something, or maybe even if he goes to
He
City or
reminds me. Do you know
United or
what he
whatever thing.
reminds me of? He reminded me of Michael Owen when he was at Liverpool, where everything was catered to him, and he's,
Do you know what I
that's why
thought
he
you were going to
scored the
say?
goal.
He reminds me of me. I was going to say he's nothing like you.
No, he's not good enough looking to be like me.
The only difference,
He's
the only
sick, and
thing
he
you've
looks
got in
older
common
than I
is
do.
yeah, you're both white. That's the only
Yeah.
that's the only thing in common you've got.
Big nose.
But yeah, he was. He's definitely lost. He's lost. Um,
His way.
how can I say this?
Totally.
Yeah, he's lost his way. Yeah.
The whole
And
team,
with
though,
that,
you
he's
look at them, how many of those players can you say look a better prospect than the... See, I mean, Dyer can't even... He can barely kick a ball now.
oh no, he is dire.
Yeah, he's turned... I mean, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't a bad player initially. Wasn't great, but he was like, you thought he's learning the position, so maybe he'd come good. You know what I mean? He showed he had technique and that when he was at
England
Everton and
regular.
stuff.
He
Yeah.
he was an England regular. And
Now
look at
he's...
Delhi, England
Oh,
regular.
yeah.
Same thing.
Oh,
Same
he's
thing. Delhi. He
awful.
was. Oh my! I
He
mean,
he's got
what's
so
happened?
yeah, he had so much ability, and now he just looks like, I don't know. It's just like they've got too big for their boots.
Stagnated.
Got too
They've
big.
all
No, I
stagnated.
would have said got too big to their boots, and they think they're it now. They think they're king. The problem is you've got a manager there who doesn't discipline them. He's their mate. You know
And
what I
you
mean? He's arm round the shoulder only. He doesn't do the other
and then
side
what?
of it.
Yeah, I accept that, and also the fact that you've given them fat contracts, and coupled with the fact that, like you say, they think they've made it. It's a recipe for disaster because how are you going to motivate these players if they don't care?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
They really disappointed me at Anfield. They really did. Not one of those players looked like apart from Son. It's the only one looks like a player.
he's some
What?
player, mate. I tell you, what a player.
I've seen
I
people
mean,
giving Lovren grief over his performance, but like he was isolated against Son and Kane most of the game, and Virgil was just stood watching for large portions of it. He was sleepwalking through that game. I was a bit disappointed in him then.
I Klopp loves to play Lovren against Spurs. I mean, you'd have think
Only the first
Pochettino knows
half.
Lovren. Yeah, I think that Lovren. I think Lovren. Pochettino knew him at Southampton, correct? So, but then again, I see. I would have thought maybe play Gomez, but Gomez isn't in the best of form at the
Yeah,
moment either. So
he needs to get his form back before he can come in. I just
yeah,
thought
exactly.
Virgil could have done more to help him. Kane wasn't even attempting to go near Virgil at all. He was,
Right. Yeah.
he knew he was outclassed, and on a very rare occasion he didn't get a touch. So he was constantly on Lovren. So Virgil should have been over there helping him. And if there's a gap behind, then that's what Fabinho should be dropping in to fill.
Right, yes. But let's face it. I mean, to be honest, I think that after 25 minutes or so, we got to grips with their
Mm.
defensive setup. And from the 20, listen to this. Look at this. Listen to this stat. From the 25th minute to the 31st minute, Liverpool had six shots, four of which were on target, 94.1% possession, and a 90% pass completion rate.
I can
Do you
believe
remember
that.
that 6 minutes? But it was dazzling. Oh my
But
God. I
like,
mean, I think it
you,
was.
you've got to ask how much of the game we could have had if they hadn't time wasted so much. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
but
never seen a team time waste from the first minute. As soon as that goal went
Tristan,
in, I've never seen.
Tristan, I don't blame them for it. They're a team lacking in confidence, lacking in
That wasn't
character.
what you told me before when we were going into it. You said, "Oh, they've won against the Red Star Belgrade, or was it Red Star Partizan? I can't remember which rolled over for them." And you were
Partizan
saying, "Oh,
Belgrade, yeah.
they come in, they're in great form now. Just our luck." You were saying. I did say to you,
Yeah,
no.
listen. I have the right to change my wife. My wife. My wife.
Do we need to edit that bit out because she'll kill you.
I have the right to change my mind.
Yeah,
Oh,
you've
that was a
really.
Freudian
Oh,
slip.
that was
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah, Freudian
Yeah,
slip there,
but
wasn't it?
but
Jesus.
they
Oh God.
bloody hell, they
That
played
was so.
Ericsson on the right,
Oh.
and why not play Ndombele from the start? I
Oh,
mean,
Jim,
this
what was he's
crazy
their best
decision.
player?
I mean, that pass at the end when he played it to Son, when he just could revert, he switched it to the right,
Hmm.
and anybody, I'd have thought he was going to play something through the middle or to the left, and he completely switched it, and then Son had the shot right at the
Hmm.
death. I mean, that guy's got some
Ndombele.
vision. That
Oh,
Ndombele, he's a
I
very,
love
very
him.
good player.
I really, really, really like him. His quality. He's far too
I,
good for Spurs.
I mean, they got a real deal there. I mean, for 60 million, I mean, I'd swap him for Keita today.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. If Cater ever got himself together, yeah, but
No, but what's the thinking about playing Ericsson on the right? Just to shoehorn him in the team, or what's that
I
about?
I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking there. I mean, he's got when you've got Ndombele, you've got another option. You've got Sissoko who could have played there, and swap it
Or
around a
put
bit, or
or
he's,
put Ericsson on the bench and play on Ndombele instead of him. I mean,
yeah.
it's
I
just
mean, it's the same as his obsession with playing Ali. No matter how bad he plays, he has it in his head, and he has these bizarre things. I really don't get how Ndombele wasn't starting. How
listen,
does Sissoko get a game? I mean, the guy's a donkey.
mate. As long as he plays Danny Rose and Serge Aurier against us every single time we play them, I'm not
Oh,
fussed.
they're clowns, they're two, aren't they?
So it
What
was
I don't
yeah,
understand is how neither of them two got sent off. Because they were constantly fouling. You're thinking, at least they've got to pick up a booking for persistent fouling. They could have
I
had
mean,
10 of them.
Danny. Have you ever seen
Oh,
Danny Rose smile? He's
he's
always
a
angry
miserable
and
bugger.
complaining. He's always complaining about something. I mean, he's always on his knees complaining. I mean, geez, just smile for once, will you,
Oh.
Danny?
But he
He
doesn't even
calls
like. He
so
doesn't. He's one of those that does it as a job rather than because he enjoys it. So
fair. I mean, listen, not every footballer has to love what they do. I mean, you don't have to love what you do, but
it
you can tell
helps.
he doesn't like what
Yeah,
he
it
does.
helps if you want to be any good at the job. I just don't understand how he's still there. I mean, he's
And
been
nobody
crap for
wanted
them
him,
for
didn't they?
years. Yeah, but I mean, he was crap for them when they got him. He's been crap for them every single season since they bought him. Why is he still there?
Maybe he just needs a change of scenery, and
No,
we'll see
he's
a
just
different
crap.
player.
No, he's just rubbish. I'm sorry, he's never been a good player. He was. I didn't understand why they bought him in the first place. He was a. He was
Fair
such a bad
enough.
midfielder. They put him in defence, and he's still rubbish. He's just not a good player. He's got the wrong
Listen,
attitude.
I can't argue with that, mate.
Horrible
Listen,
attitude.
I don't know if that he doesn't seem like the head screwed on properly, mate. I don't know if you know, but Sky Sports have employed Roy Keane as their one of the
Oh,
summarisers
God.
in the studio, and he called Aurier and Rose Dumb and Dumber, and it was just pretty funny, brutal but funny. But yeah, so they were having nightmares, those two. I mean, Aurier for the penalty for the against Mane. I mean, he'd done him for pace. Did you see Mane beat him for pace?
I don't understand why they bought Aurier. I mean, what did they see in him?
Yeah, but they're all, mate. You got to understand, Spurs are they're not shopping at bargain basement, but they're not shopping at the
But
at that.
there's better quality players. There's players who can actually kick a ball in a straight line, at least for the money they paid for him.
Yeah, but
The
also
problem is they've got Pochettino, who only looks at one thing: is how well they run. That's it. He doesn't realise technique matters. His whole thing is about how athletic the players are. That's why he's got dross like Musa Sissoko and Davison Sanchez in the team.
but he must. It seems to me he's divorced himself from the ideology he had at Southampton, because at Southampton it was a totally
He didn't
different
buy
type
the
of football he
players.
played.
He didn't buy the players.
Okay,
So and he was stuck with the youth team there because that was the way they were playing then. It was only after
right,
him that they moved away from what they were doing under him.
right. Because I thought they played some super sexy stuff at Southampton when he was managing them, and I thought, I mean, I take your point about how I'm
But
beginning
their
to
kids,
understand how
a
you
lot of that is kids coming through wanting to impress him because he was there, because
right.
he's arm round the shoulder. That's fine when they're coming through and probably you've got to have a bit more when they've broken through. You've got to then keep them on the path. You know what I mean? And that's where he fails.
So you think he needs? I mean, you can't really become a kind of disciplinarian now.
Nah.
This stage of your he hasn't got that personality. So what's the future hold for him? And will he? I mean, they
That's
say that he hasn't got.
short-term jobs. That's what he needs to be doing. Short-term jobs, come in, turn things around, and then go. Because once he's turned them around, it's only a matter of time before they start going downhill again.
Yeah. Well, he's not. They reckon he's not imminently in danger of losing his job, so he'll be at the Spurs for a while, I think.
Good.
On that note, let's get down to the player ratings, mate. Or if there's anything else you wanted to add for the game about the
Uh,
game.
have we discussed? We've mentioned the time wasting, haven't we? And how they.
Oh, we
And
haven't
how.
even mentioned the goal. We haven't even got to
Oh
the yeah.
God,
It's
yeah.
me trying to zoom through. Yeah. So 1-0 in the first minute. I mean, Allison had no chance of the goal.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Wasn't
I
that his only?
swear.
Wasn't that didn't he not have a shot to save for the rest of the? Or something. I read
Yeah,
somewhere that he didn't have another shot on
no.
target.
Oh no. They had two shots at the end. Remember
Oh
when
yes, right at the end. That was it.
Allison saved from Son, and I think no, one's a deflection. I think yeah. But I swear to you, you know when Kane scored, I thought he was diving. I thought the ball was nowhere near him. I thought he was diving, and, and then I realised the ball was in the back of the net, and Allison nearly saved it as well. As some save that would have been, yeah. So, but yeah, 25 minutes into the game, mate, we totally clattered them. I think that we were smashing them, and it was one way traffic. And I thought the who got the equaliser again?
Oh God.
It
Oh,
was it was. I've got to think. Oh, we're getting old, mate. Honestly,
oh.
this is not funny.
It's because
This is
this
not even
game.
funny.
I just watched everything's gone
No,
out my head watching that high
it
five.
was last Sunday.
My head's gone completely. Yeah, but I mean, it's driven everything out. I had it all ready in my mind. I'd had this all planned out for days.
I told you, Tristan.
It's taken so
I'm
long.
telling you,
It's old
you got to
age.
go old. You got to go old school, mate,
Well, I
and get your
normally do.
frigging pen and a piece of paper
I
out.
normally do. That's the thing. I write it all down, but I just never had a chance.
I'm refusing to Google this, so we got to come up. We got
Oh,
to work this out. Who scored the equaliser against Spurs? Milner? No. Henderson.
Yes, I was going to say
Yeah.
it was somebody bloody. It was like because he was the one that gave away the ball for their goal.
Yeah, he gave the ball away. And I thought that was a pretty good attack by us in the first few seconds. And I thought, wow, this is looking great. And he gave the ball away. And then, I
You're
love
just a
that
kiss
guy's
of death,
passion.
you are.
Yeah.
I mean,
How passionate.
every time before a game, you text me, "Oh, I'm not happy with whatever it is." Always something you moan
Yeah.
about, and every time you do that, we're brilliant. Every time we absolutely we win, and any time you don't, we don't win.
I texted you the midfield of doom, didn't I?
Yeah, that was, and it's like every time you do that, we go on and win, and
But
you
don't you
always
think I
end up
do that on
looking like an
purpose?
idiot. And
I
well,
don't.
it's
I
'cause
don't
you
mind as
are,
long as my
but
beloved Liverpool win. If I do it on
let's be
purpose,
honest, you don't do it on purpose. You do it because you
It's a
mean
thing.
it.
It's a thing for me. I do that on purpose, and we win. I look like an idiot, and I accept it because my team win.
Mate, you
Yeah.
don't need to do that to look like an idiot. Don't worry.
So then, Salah with the penalty to go. We had tons of chances before that. I mean, Van Dijk should have scored with a towering header. I mean, he hit it straight at the keeper. I mean, that keeper had a game.
Man of the match, yeah.
Oh yeah, he was. I mean, he made the saves he made. They weren't like Alisson against Napoli in the Champions League last season, but it was like they weren't makeable saves. They were good saves, but I mean,
But he's still got to
I mean,
make them at the end of the day. It's easy to make a mistake.
I mean,
We've seen so many. Even the best keepers make them.
yeah, I mean, the Van Dijk chance was straight at him. The Salah one was a good save. I mean, I just wish Salah could hit it more in the corner, but that was a good save. But yeah, I mean, he did have he had a very, very good game. I'll give him that. And so Salah's penalty. Oh, that gave me a few
I
kittens.
don't like penalties. I really don't like penalties. I never know whether
No,
to watch or not. I'm not sure which is
Yeah.
bad luck, watching it or not watching it.
Mate, I the only time I can watch a penalty with faith is when Milner's taking it.
I can't even then. Today, and especially today, because he was having such a stinker, I thought, oh, God. But I still thought, no, he's going to score. He's going to score. I'm still telling myself that. But, yeah, no, I can't. I get so nervous. It's just...
Yeah, okay. I feel you, mate. I feel you. So we went 2-1 up. Salah scored penalty, and then I honestly thought in the last minute when they were attacking, I thought Son's chance right at the end. I thought he's going to bury that, and then Alisson just hugged it, and I was.
Back in.
But we do that. We do that.
We
all
went
the
ahead,
time.
and then we just sit back and start stroking it around at the back, rather than killing them off. We just start passing it around. And if we do kill them off, we kill them off early, and then we then we let them back in it. Then it's just like
exactly. Yeah.
There's no real. It's like we want to make it difficult.
Yeah.
We should just keep going at teams. Just never let them off the leash. That's what the old Liverpool used to do. Even if they were 4-0 up, they'd go and they'd be trying for 5. And if they were 5-0 up, they'd be trying for 6. You know what I mean? Just keep them penned in.
Is that a coaching directive, or is that the players on the pitch saying, right, okay, let's just shut up shop?
It's a mental thing, usually. It can be a bit of both, because the manager's obviously trying to get them to manage the game, but a lot of it is, you can see the players they try to be too sure with their passing when you've got a lead.
Right.
It's like trying to be careful, and then when you're trying to be careful, that's when you make mistakes. If you just do something, you tend to just do it. You know what I mean? But when you're trying so hard not to make a mess of it, you normally make a mess of it because you're tense rather than relaxed.
Natural. I get you. All right, mate. Well, let's hope we can eradicate that from our game and instill some decent game management in the coming games, months. Let's get down to the players' ratings, mate. Klopp, I gave him an 8. Can't fault the boss for anything. It was a convincing performance. The pre-match clamour for Keita or Ox was not granted, but his decision was justified.
He got it right. We won. At the end of the day.
Exactly. I've just savoured the guy while he's here, mate. You know what I mean?
I know you were gutted Lallana didn't start.
Let's get on to Allison, mate. I gave him an 8. He couldn't do anything with the goal, though he nearly got to it. Distribution was world class, and he made a couple of important stops late on.
Yeah, can't argue with that. To be
His
honest,
distribution is poetic. Oh
yeah,
my God.
he does make a huge difference. I love Adrian. He's been great for us, but Allison's a different level entirely, isn't he?
Oh my, it's he gives so much surety between the sticks, and he instills confidence in the team, not just the defense. And that distribution, he just pinging it left, right, and center. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you feel safe when he's on the ball.
Yeah, definitely. Robertson, I gave him a 7.5. He had Aurier and Ericsson flummoxed at times with his his offensive forays. But
He
that
didn't
wasn't
make them.
difficult
He
against it.
didn't make the most of it though, did he? He got past. He had
Yeah,
it quite.
yeah.
He got. Ericsson wasn't tracking him well, and he didn't really make the most of it for my thinking.
Yeah, I think he had a few flashes of brilliance, but he could have, like you said, he could have done more because they let him off a little bit, because of Ericsson is half a player on the right and Aurier isn't even a player. So, he could have done, yeah. He was defensive. He was defensively sound. I liked his
Yeah,
performance defensively.
yeah, defensively solid, but then they didn't really attack much, though, did they? To be honest, they hadn't come to attack.
Yeah, they definitely came to sit back and nick a point if they could, for sure. All right, mate. Trent, I gave him a 9. For me, it seems the world has only realised that this guy is a phenom. He's a phenom. I mean, if Trent could have, if he could just improve his defensive game by say 5-10%, we'd have a Ballon d'Or winner here. I mean, against Spurs, he was crossing, taking most of the set pieces, and and generally abusing Danny Rose at will. Um, he created 37 goal scoring chances. He's created 37 goal scoring chances in the Premiership. That's one more than anyone in Europe's top 5 leagues. And that's from friggin' right back. Uh,
Tonight, I think, showed how much of a difference it makes having good fullbacks. It must be said, the delivery is just a different level with them two in.
More so Trent than Robertson, because I don't feel that
Yeah,
Robertson is as good as Trent in the thing in delivery. But
not
Trent
a crossing.
is
Yeah, Trent's much better crosser, but
no, yeah,
Robertson does link up well down the flank.
yeah. They link together fantastically well. Obviously, the stats and the numbers show that. But the guy is, I mean, that right leg of Trent's needs an Oscar. He's an incredible footballer at 21 years of age.
I know, only 21. What's he going to be like at
I mean,
25?
what's he going to be like at 23? I mean, he's going to get better defensively. It's natural. It's organically going to happen. And what we're going to have on our hands is, I I I, I,
From a
I shudder
makeshift
to
right
think.
back as well. Because that's all he was at the end of the day. He was a midfielder. We just like, who have we got that could go there? Well, he's the best player in the youth teams. Stick him in there.
And the beauty of it all, Tristan, is his attitude is second to none. He's
Oh,
got an amazing attitude. He respects the football club. He respects the area. Obviously, he's a local lad. He has respect for other people. The sky's the limit for the guy.
yeah, fingers crossed he keeps his feet on the ground because he's going to be something special. Well, he already is.
And I don't think that we're going to get. I don't think. I got to be honest. I don't think he's going to be one to like. If somebody, say a Barcelona or something, comes in for him, I don't think he's going to be ready to. I don't think he's going to be too seduced by other big clubs. I think he's happy where he is.
Yeah, I think he could be a bit like Gerrard, playing out his career until, he's too old to play for us anymore. Hopefully.
And I mean, if we suddenly have a massive demise, I can understand him wanting to move on. But if we're if we're being successful and we're doing right by him contractually, I think he could. stay a long time. You're right. Yeah,
Fingers crossed then.
yeah. He got a 9 for me because I think he thoroughly deserved it.
Mm.
Uh, okay, so Lovren, I gave him a 6.5. It was a mixed bag from Dejan. He was good on the deck, but abysmal in the air.
Yeah, he kept getting
Uh,
beaten by Kane in the air. He got bullied
yeah,
a
I
bit
just
physically.
yeah, but on the floor he was great.
Mm. Yeah, like I said, the problem was he was being isolated because Son was always out on that left side as well. So he's half an eye on Son as well as on Kane. So it can't have been an easy match for him.
No, but at least he's getting some matches, so it's good for rhythm, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to I mean, it's his position now, isn't it, over Gomez? While is this a good time to talk about Matip? I mean, or do you want to talk about him later?
It could do, yeah. I mean,
Is he? How long's he out for, Matip?
well, the last I heard, it wasn't meant to be that long, but I'm just going to have
So
a...
the reports of 6 weeks are not
It
are out,
wasn't meant to be
exaggerated.
initially, but now he's another one of
Yeah,
those. It's not like Mo Salah where they're expecting him to play again next game.
right,
Because
right. Okay,
Virgil's got a
gotcha.
dead leg as well. Like, yeah, I'm
I
trying to
think Klopp said he was fine. I think no, not Klopp. Pep Linders said that Virgil's fine.
who is fine? Virgil. Yeah, he just had a dead leg,
Yeah,
so
Virgil's good.
so
Yeah,
he'll be
exactly.
fine. Yeah, it's only a dead leg. I mean, they should be able to play the same bloody day. Drives me mad when they all pull, when they're out for a week with a dead leg. It's like, for God's sake, just keep moving it and it'll free it up. That's all it
Mate, they're all
is.
pulling us. They're pulling a sickie. That's all it is. So you think Lovren's above Gomez in the pecking order, right?
Hmm. Well, yeah, clearly, because otherwise he'd have played.
Gotcha. All right, mate.
Gomez played because he's down below tonight. I mean, in the cup, he's got to
Yeah,
prove
yeah.
himself again. But he needs games to prove. This is the problem. He needs games to get back to his best. I mean, it showed tonight. Gomez was getting better as the game went on.
That's the beauty about that's one of the disadvantages of having such a strong squad bench now that
Hmm.
they're not going to play. So rhythm is going to be affected. All right, let's move on to Virgil. I gave him a 6.5, mate, because I thought Virgil was mediocre and not his usual self.
Yeah, I didn't
He
think
was
he had a
good
good game.
ball watching, yeah, rash decision making, but was yeah. So I think they were
Few
same.
few great passes, but as many bad passes as well, which is unlike him. It's quite
He's
odd.
those crossfield passes. He was springing them about, but he's expected to do that. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Virgil
Expected to
doesn't do
do
kind of thing.
that.
Exactly.
But a
Yeah.
couple of them went out into touch as well, which was a bit of a shock for him.
Oh, talking about crossfield passes, Trent's pulls across the park were
Yeah.
unbelievable, mate.
I was wondering why you didn't mention that when you were talking about him as a 9. That was a bit I was waiting for you to mention.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. No, I forgot. Yeah, it was in my notes. But
That was
yeah. So
beautiful.
that's Virgil done. Yeah, unbelievable. All right, Fab. I gave him a 9. I thought he was man of the match, mate.
I
What a
thought,
worldy
oh, for us,
performance.
you mean? Man of the
Oh,
match.
yeah. Fabinho. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Um, that even more startling because it was his third match in 7 days.
See,
You
I
know
don't
that to
find that
pull out.
I don't find that surprising. I think players play better when they play regularly.
You don't think lethargy comes into it, no? Because I mean, he was. They say, "Oh, it's players are tired. Players are tired. They're tired. That's why they didn't play so well." It was his third 90-minute game in 7 days. I mean, that's United, Genk, and then Spurs.
But it's not like he's. But it's the distance he's covering shouldn't be so much that he should be. That he's. I just don't see why they can't manage the three
Yeah,
and 7 days and play well.
but
I really don't.
but he's training on top of that as well. It's not as if he's resting. He's training on
Well,
top
they'd
of that
need
as
to,
well.
because
So that
otherwise they'd be seizing up. That's the thing. Is
yeah.
you need the cooling down periods and that in between. Just
Yeah.
loosen
No,
yourselves
I
up.
get it.
That's all they'll do the next day, and then they'll
Yeah.
work on the day before. They'll be working on
Drills and
the match
match
shape.
tactics and
Yeah, the
stuff.
match
Yeah.
tactics and that. So they won't really, there's 2 days of that, the training, where they won't be actually doing much in the way of training at all.
It seems that his conditioning is superior, so he's got supreme conditioning, and he's
He,
one of the type.
uh,
He's the type of player that can do 3 in 7 days.
yeah, but you have to remember as well, when he goes away with Brazil, he often doesn't
You don't
play.
play. Yeah. So it's
So,
just the travel that gets
yeah, so
jet lag and stuff.
yeah. So he
He
does tend
must
to
be.
get a break.
He must be so frustrating to play against, as he's constantly breaking up plays with those annoying Inspector Gadget legs.
I know,
You
he
know,
just
it's like, oh my god,
suddenly appears and it's gone. The ball's gone. It's like, you can see players thinking, where did that come from?
ridiculous, man. I mean, he's consistent as well. I mean, he'll have a bad game in every. Well, not a bad game. He won't be up to scratch for about probably every 4 or 5 games, and other than that, he's so consistent. He's got to be rested against Villa. He's got to be rested against Villa and play against City because he's on that cusp of being banned, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want him missing against City.
Yeah. So you think he'll be dropped? Not dropped. He'll be rested against Villa. You'd assume.
Well, yeah. Well, this is Klopp, though, isn't it? So, what you think and what he actually does tend to be not quite the same, do they? I would expect him to be rested, yeah, but
I think it'll be a Hendo, Ox, and Genie midfield, maybe, or maybe you'd stick Milner in there.
don't know. But I mean, you can play
Yeah,
anyone.
you could. Yeah, you could. All right, next to Henderson. I gave him a 7. It was a tale of two halves from Hendo. He was Hyde in the first half and Dr. Jekyll in the second. After the break, he was the Hendo we all know and love. So I'm so chuffed he scored because he gets unjustified dog's abuse. And like you, he hasn't scored since 2015. So
That's definitely that. He scored He scored against Southampton last season.
since
Remember?
he hasn't scored at Anfield since
Right.
2015.
Can I say? Oh, well, I've definitely not scored at Anfield at all.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But he hasn't scored at Anfield since 2015. You haven't scored anywhere since 2015.
It's longer than that, mate. Trust me.
Mate, it's time to blow up that doll, mate. I don't, I Hendo's distractions don't appreciate what a selfless captain and what a selfless team player he is.
Are they just desperate to have an excuse to slate him because, for some reason they don't like him? It happens. Some people just don't like somebody. They take a dislike to him and then they constantly on their back and they only look for the negatives. And that's where the problem lies.
Do you know what? He's the club captain. He plays out of position. He plays wherever Klopp plays him.
And some people, that's unforgivable for some people.
He placed Gerrard because Gerrard was finished. How's that Hendo's fault?
Yeah, but he's not Gerrard, and he replaced Gerrard, so everybody's just saying, so a lot of them, that's, because he's not Gerrard, they're never going to accept him.
But not many people are Gerrard.
Yeah, but I mean, if he'd been from Liverpool, maybe a few of the ones on his back might have been a bit, might have got off his back by now.
1 minute, didn't he just lift the European Champions Cup?
It doesn't matter. People don't care about stuff like that. They'll just say he's not. It wasn't anything to do with him. That's the usual. It's a team game when he's playing well. When he's winning things and that, it's a team game. But when he's, when they're on his back, it's an individual thing. People just don't like because of the way he runs and stuff like that. They're on his back because he's.
Honestly, mate, I've very rarely seen a player with that much fire and passion in his belly. I mean, you see what it beggars belief, honestly, the way people slate him. He's just is he a phenomenal player? No. On his day, he can be a phenomenal player. Does he do a job for the team? Yeah, of course. You know, I would rather have him than not have him. That passion and that fire you cannot replicate, and it's great for squad morale.
Yeah, exactly. He's a good captain.
He's a fabulous captain. That's the operative word is captain. You've hit the nail on the head. He's a fantastic captain. Who else in that team is a better captain? I don't think there is one.
And you know everyone will say Virgil. But
But
like
he's
he's a
not.
defender. He's a great
Yeah.
defender. People just assume a great player is a great captain. They don't. It's a different thing.
Nobody is. I mean, listen, Virgil has his place, but he's not as vocal as Henderson is. You know, and maybe if you give Virgil the captaincy, it may not be a positive have a positive effect on him.
Mm.
You know, he may not be able to go on.
I'd rather stick it with someone in the midfield anyway. Someone who's right in the middle of it.
Listen, exactly, and I mean, who's to say that Jordan won't be? I'm not sure that he'll be here next season or the season after. But while he's here, for me, he's the best man for the job. And if you're listening, Jordan, haters are gonna hate. So you keep doing what you're doing and lift that Premiership trophy at the end of the season, mate.
I don't think we need to worry about him listening. Or anybody else for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, Berg's switched off now as well. So
yeah, well, it's gone over the hours, so everybody's switched off by now.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Genie, I gave him a 6. He played a ridiculous amount of football last few months, and this performance illustrated that. Not his best game in a red shirt, but will benefit with a few days off, I think.
Yeah, he did look a bit tired.
Yeah, he's played international football, been an ever-present he plays 2 games in a week for Holland in the international break all the time, and then he plays week in, week out. That's no wonder.
And he covers a huge amount of ground as well.
Exactly. So you can understand him being off and tired. All right, Salah. I gave him a 7. He was not his blistering best, but a below par salary is better than most players at their peak. He did make Danny Rose look like.
And it's not just that; it's what he does, what he brings to the team. Because the players, like I keep saying, everybody's watching him so desperately that it gives other players time and space.
And that's illustrated. Evidence of that is the United game when he wasn't there, and we severely lacked that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he made he made Danny Rose look like a crybaby, even while they were using those roughhouse tactics on him.
How many times did they kick him?
Yeah, no, exactly. Proper roughhouse tactics. He was unlucky not to score when as I mentioned earlier, Gazaniga pulled off a very good save. People say it was a bad penalty, but really, was it? It flew past him. He didn't have a chance with it.
He scored. How can it be a bad penalty? A bad penalty is one that the keeper saves. That's it. If it goes in the back of the net, it's a good penalty. What more do you need?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. All right, let's move on to Mane. I gave him an 8.5. Salah got the Sky Sports Man of the match. I think the reason was his tenacity and fortitude. It's a complete menace all game, and I think he definitely won't be on Serge Aurier's Christmas card list. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was tearing them apart as usual.
He done for the goal, for the penalty. I mean, he done Aurier for pace. He done all the hard work, went inside him, and then all of a sudden Aurier's got the ball, and then Mane's down. It was comical.
Aurier doesn't know what to do, does he? He's like somebody's won a prize. Come and play with your heroes, in a charity event. And he gets there it turns out it's not a charity event, it's a proper match. Well, but we're short a man.
Yeah, I think Aurier.
Have you never played in a Sunday League team where you've got there and you've only got 10 men, so you have to ask somebody watching, have you got any kit? Have you got any boots? Can you play? That's what he looks like. You were usually the one.
Nobody really asked me. I was usually the linesman.
We've only got 10 men, but we'd rather have 10 men. You go run the line, lad.
Yeah, we'll take our chances 11 against 10. You just be the linesman, yeah. Bobby, I gave him a 7. he was well marshalled by the Spurs defence in the first half, but when second half he came deeper to look for the ball, consequently making space and chances for the team. He only had 16 touches in the first half,
But he
which was
stopped
not
a lot of their
probably.
chances to break as well.
Yeah, I mean, he did do it. He put in a shift in defensively.
But then he always does, doesn't he? So again, it's kind of like it's what you expect.
Doesn't this team give you like a giddy feeling?
Mm,
It's a proper team. Like I mean, some of the team when we went close with Rogers and Rafa, there was chinks in the armor. This is a proper team. 1 to 11 are very, very footballers. There's not really any kind of inferior players
Yeah, there's
or
no weakness in
uh,
that squad, is there?
there's no
In the
weakness.
team,
That's
I
the
mean.
word I was looking for. Yeah, exactly. In the team. And the squad isn't bad. I mean, the bench isn't bad now either.
Yeah, and that's even without players like Shaqiri and Matip out injured. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. This feels like a Premiership title winning team.
oh
It
God,
looks
don't say
like
that.
one.
Please don't jinx it.
Oh, shut up.
Please
Shut up
don't
with that.
jinx it. Jonah.
All right, Mystic, mate.
Oh
Uh,
God.
Dubs. I said it looks like one. I didn't say we're going to win it. Uh,
Hang on, I've got to go through a
oh,
routine now of all the breaking hexes and stuff.
Jesus. You're going to be getting your lucky feathers and garlic out and stuff,
Yeah,
are
everything, mate. I'll be doing the jumping over cracks in the pavement and all that, like.
the mind boggles. The subs, Milner, Gomez, and dude see out the game. They didn't have much time actually, apart from Milner. All
Okay,
right, mate.
did well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
Not that I can think of.
All right, mate. Let's get on to the miscellaneous Liverpool stuff. You've got to do me a favour, pal. You've got to
Uh-oh.
explain the kit deal to me because the kit deal, it's all gobbledygook to me. Explain, elaborate. Is it a good deal?
Well, it depends on how many how many kits we shift. The thing was, Nike and New Balance were saying they could put it in X amount of stores, the same amount of stores as Nike, but they clearly don't have the same distribution network. So, I mean, you can't get the bloody kits here. They're in the shops, but they sell out immediately within like the first day of them coming in, and you literally can't buy them. So New
So,
Balance have trouble with their distribution network, and they don't produce enough kits. So Nike could take it over. They'll produce enough kits. They'll use the right people to advertise it. It could make a huge difference, but it could. The thing is, what the difference is that basically they'll be using American people, American stars, to
right.
advertise it, and that is one market that Liverpool want to get into that they aren't that big in. You know what I mean? If you look around the
So,
world, there's not many places in the world where you can wear a Liverpool top and people don't go immediately. Oh, are you for And normally they'll be Egyptian and they'll say, "Oh, Salah," but
yeah,
or something, or they'll know Salah, or
right,
anywhere around the world, there's somebody. Most people know who Liverpool are. America's not
right.
the same, is it? You live there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, highlighting what you're saying, they want to crack the American market and
That's what it's
the
about. It's a
especially,
bit like Juventus changing their kits. That's what it's really about.
yeah, yeah. I
They
mean,
can
you
say
can
all the
see,
other stuff, but that's the point of this deal.
yeah. I mean, it's okay. So there's two things here, right? They want to crack, like you say, the American market and more importantly, probably the Chinese market. And LeBron James is massive in China. He's like
Yeah.
insanely popular.
But he
And
wears Liverpool
what?
kits and stuff occasionally
Yeah, but that's because they've
because he's
given
a
him
part
two
owner.
percent shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they gave him 2% because they see him as their pitch to LeBron James when they brought him on was, we see you as a blue chip company. So they gave him. They don't see him as a brand; they see him as a blue chip company. So
Mm.
they gave him 2%, and it's that, and they want to break into that lucrative Chinese market now. with, I think it's Drake and Serena Williams. They want to crack the American market. In principle, on paper, it looks like a very good decision to go with a low annual guarantee, and then just profits. So, how much of the profits do they get? Is it of how many sold? Right? Is it how much percent of?
No, it depends on how much profit they make.
So it's based on profit, right? On how
It's
many?
not going to be like how many sell. If we sell 3 million, you'll get this amount, because it might depend, because they might sell 3 million, but they might all sell at sale price. Half of them at sale price. In which case, there won't be much profit in it. So it depends on what kind of money Nike make from it, basically.
So it's 20%. So it's 20% on profits, isn't it? That's the commission.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's one of those deals where it could work out brilliantly. The last time we did it with Reebok many years ago, and it was a disaster. But then their kits were crap. So, in the main, their kits weren't nice.
But the thing is, it's a 5-year deal, correct?
And we weren't winning. Shout.
And we weren't winning, and the
Trophies.
we weren't as
weren't as big. We weren't in the same league as we are right now. We were being being owned and run by clowns at the time who didn't have a clue what they were doing with merchandise. So it could work out. It's one of those things. I mean, I personally miss the New Balance kits because they made an effort. They didn't do generic at all. They tried to do something personal to Liverpool, and I like that. I just
they did them in yours. The reason why you liked it is they did them in your size. That's why. Nothing to do with what they look like.
And the Nike, I just worry Nike will end up. It'll be all generic stuff. What I'm hoping is they do like they did with PSG last season, but our Champions League kit was a separate one done specifically through the Jordan brand. Because that was a beautiful kit. I don't know if you've seen them, the training kits.
No, I didn't. No.
They were gorgeous, mate. I nearly bought some, but then I realised they were PSG. So I was like, sod that. Not buying anything with PSG on it.
But then you realise they only came in extra large, so you were gutted. Now listen,
a bit size too small. No, they do the big size. They need them here.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah,
because the food's so cheap. Everybody's a bit over.
Yeah. The people at Liverpool would have crunched the numbers before they done this deal. They would have seen what was best for them, and they would have done the research and the due diligence, etc. So I don't think. I think that they would have probably got themselves. They saw all the forecasts and everything like that. So fingers crossed, it becomes something of profitability for us. Would you have gone with a 70 million up front or something over every year for 5 years, or are you okay with this?
So I can only say, wait and see. It's the only thing we can do now. I just don't. Like I said, it's one of those things where I'm a bit disappointed with the way it's gone with New Balance, though.
Yeah. But they've done a count of they're trying to appeal it again, aren't they? New Balance as of today.
So they
the verdict. Yeah.
They've already been shown up to be false, making up numbers off the top of their heads and that. So I don't know what they can do really.
Exactly. Well, as you say, it's going to be the future. Only time will tell. All right, let's get on to the Shaqiri injury. What's going on there, mate?
It just seems to be. I mean, now he's been put. By 1 minute he's, it's late fitness test. Now it's after the international break. He's back. So it's a calf injury. So he keeps picking up. He's got big legs, hasn't he? You know what I mean? I think he's just over muscled myself.
How does he change his physical being? I mean, does he?
It's
what does he do?
Trains.
I mean,
do you train differently?
What do you mean?
Well, you change the way you train to negate the. Instead of training for bulk and size, it's like if you're training for bulk and size, you train a certain way. If you're training to lean, you do more stretching. You know what I mean, you increase the amount of stretching, so you loosen it up. I just think he's doing too much bulk work and not enough stretching by the looks of it.
Surely the medical team at Liverpool would have told him that.
I'm sure they have, but it might be too late. I'm not, he's not like he's a kid.
Yeah, exactly. He's 29 years of age.
Yeah, it might be just too late.
Changes.
He's physically, he's past the point
Develops,
where he can, where he can fix that at least while, in a short period. I'm sure he can.
Yeah.
You could probably do it over a 5-year, 6-year period, but you're not going to do it in 5 months.
Yeah.
You've seen the size of his legs.
I'm on the fence with Shaqiri because I want him. Obviously, clearly, I want him to do well for us, but I don't think he has the ability, to be honest with you, to be a first team regular. And I think he's at best he's a bench player. Hello?
Yeah, I can't. I was trying to think if I could dispute that, but I think, that's it. He's a bench player. He's good to come off the bench and change a game, but you can't trust him to play from the start. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't work hard enough off the ball.
Yeah, I mean, does he come on before Origi? I don't think so. Does he come on before Ox? I don't think so. So that's 2 of your subs gone. So in a way, I don't think we're missing him that much. Or clearly, we're not missing him. We're top of the league by 6 points. But I don't think he's that much of a loss, to be honest with you. And I don't think that if he doesn't come back for a couple of weeks, then so be it,
Unfortunately, that is true. It's sad to say, because it would be nice if we could say he was a big loss and that, and we're still doing it. But I just don't see, it doesn't seem to matter whether he's there or not, does it? Sadly.
But he's a European Cup. Yep, he's a European Cup winner, though. Yeah, all right, mate, let's
more than either of us will ever do.
Exactly, yeah. Let's talk about Villa on Saturday.
Yeah, we're going on to Villa. I wasn't sure because it's like...
How long have we been? How long's it been?
1 hour 20.
Oh, really? It's been that long?
Yeah.
Do you want to give it a quick 2 minutes? We might.
Yeah, we'll just might as well now we're at it.
Yeah. Well, go on then, say something.
I was waiting for you. You were the one that said you wanted to talk about them. You've been looking at where they are in the league and everything ready.
Yeah, they're 15th, mate. How'd you like that for research?
That's about all you're going to do. That's it, isn't it?
Well,
that's your research.
That's the Villa preview done then, so let's call it a day.
Oh, God.
You got anything to say?
Well, they play very open football, so it should be a good game.
Yeah, I'll be on a plane when they're playing, so I'll miss the game, fortunately. That was bad booking time. Them should have done that. Should have seen that coming from a few weeks ago, but I didn't. I thought it was Sunday we were playing. It was my mistake. So I won't. I'll be on as soon as I'll be on the plane for 2 hours while they're playing. So when I get off,
who are you flying with?
On my own.
No. What? The airline, you divvy.
I can't remember, mate. I don't think we have. I don't think. What do you call it? A Wi-Fi on the plane. I'm pretty sure I don't.
I was going to say because some airlines now show the footy live. I'm not sure how live it is. Whether there's a delay on it or what. But
I bet that's Emirates in like super business class, something like that. Yeah, exactly. All right, mate.
Because that'll be how I'll know about it. Because it'll be Emirates.
Exactly. So they're 15th in the league. They play openly. So that's the preview done. Right, let's call that a day then.
Is that it? Like that's our preview. That's good. We've done well. We covered it well. That.
Gonna get, yeah.
All right then, mate.
All right, mate. See you next Tuesday.
Oh, it shouldn't be. Yeah, we'll be. Yeah.
Yeah.